welcome to On the Record. I'm Shireen Bhan. My guest today is the CEO of a company that is the third largest pharma company in India. In fact, the stock has been an outperformer, up 8% year to date versus the pharma index, which is down 11% in the same period. The company has come a long way from the first big global breakthrough in 2001 when it introduced an HIV combination drug for less than $1 a day, a game-changing development for HIV therapy. And today, Cipla hopes to transform itself into a global healthcare organization with a sharp focus on strengthening its presence in the US market in the complex generics, peptides and respiratory segments. Well, to talk about the pipeline and Cipla's plans ahead, joining me now is Umang Bohra, the Global Managing Director and CEO. Umang, always a pleasure. Many thanks for joining me here on the record. Let me start by asking you about the growth aspiration, Umang. You say that you want to position Cipla as a global healthcare organization. You've identified certain engines of growth, whether it's the wellness-oriented business, it's betting on new therapies, it's a diagnostic business, and of course your continued leadership in the respiratory segment and a focus on the US market. Of these, take me through the key milestones that you hope to achieve in the next few years. What's the roadmap?
Thank you, Shireen, for having me. And it's a very comprehensive question. Let me attempt to answer it. I think broadly, the 3 or 4 drivers for us. The first is just in this healthcare diversification. We see a lot of markets like India, but that also means that India will get the largest amount of focus in terms of the market that we want to create here. And what we're seeing in India is incredible amounts of deepening of the healthcare market into tier 2 and 6 towns. We are seeing a wave towards wellness. And both of these are opportunities that we want to capitalize, not just for India, but also for the rest of the markets across the world. So that will be growth driver number 1 for us, which is just the deepening of the presence of healthcare in India and the evolving consumer healthcare space. I think in the US, which is a very large market for us, we continue to see the benefit of our respiratory pipeline and our peptide pipeline deepening there. This is part of our core business. But at the same time, we're also looking at new innovation and R&D that can perhaps take us into new areas like biosimilars, into areas like the mRNA and other areas and therapies, which frankly COVID brought to the fore more significantly than before. So that's the second area that we're looking at. The third area is a lot of the emerging markets where we think that we might be at an inflection point right now, considering where the world's been in the last 2 years. I think things are beginning to bottom out for a lot of these markets. They've all taken a deep hit, and we see early signs of revival. So all these 3 parts of the world, I think the 2 big engines that are running is of course going to be innovation. And maybe a large amount of deflation enablers such as digital in our business journey.
You know, I want to pick up on each of those, and let me start by addressing the wellness segment that you spoke of. And as you pointed out, you have aspirations of building that out even further. How much of that is going to be driven inorganically? Is that an active discussion that you're having with potential players at this point in time? And what would the size be of that business, and what kind of investments do you hope to make within that space?
So we have very large organic brands in the wellness space, and our objective would be to grow and deepen these organically first. Of course, inorganic is a part of the strategy. But I think if you look at just the depth of our organic brands, we have several brands which are 200 odd crores big. The total business right now is about 600 crores. We can see this business growing on the health side itself to close to about 2,500–3,000 crores over the next 5 years. So we are very bullish about consumer wellness. I think this is a business that will require us to be a lot more D2C oriented as well, in addition to creating equity for these brands with doctors and with patients. So we have large number of brands in the pain space. We have a large franchise in the vitamin space. We are the leaders in the nicotine replacement therapy. And over a period of time, we will create more brands in the cough segment. We will create more brands in the mom and children segment. And I think we feel very bullish about this category in India.
Okay, and you continue to believe that you will be able to enter these new spaces that you spoke of within the wellness space, mom and children, for instance, organically or inorganically? What is going to drive the growth there from the 600 crores currently to about the 2,500, 3,000 crores that you aspire to over the next 5 years?
We think organically we can reach about 1,500 crores just out of the current portfolio that we have, or possibly even more than that. And the rest of it would come through new introductions in all these other segments that we spoke about. But also there would be an inorganic lift to this business too. We believe that out of the last 5 years or 7 years, we've demonstrated how to build bigger brands and how to experiment with these brands in different store formats, whether they are online or they are the offline grocer stores, offline chemist stores, as well as all the modern trade channels. So I think that's what's probably going to drive this. The doctor equity that Cipla has in the country allows us to brand our products and for them to be received appropriately by different audiences.